It's time for another edition of Hitting the Books, where we break down the best bets for the AFC and NFC championship games. Joining me is New York Post sports betting analyst Erich Richter. Erich, how's it going, man?
Savoring every bit of football that we have left, X.
We only have a few weeks of football left, which makes a football fan sad, but we got to talk about the betting for these games for Championship Sunday. So, Erich, let's start with the NFC. As the Eagles host the Niners, the line opened with the Eagles as favorites at 1.5. They are now 2.5-point favorites. The over-under for this one is 46. Do you like the favorites here, or are you rocking with the underdog Niners with a plus 130 money line?
So for me specifically, it's a little bit of a tough spot. I had the 49ers Super Bowl at a plus 1,800. If you follow the New York Post newsletter, Post Picks, I actually gave that out once McCaffrey was traded. So it's a little bit of a tough spot for me, as I'm absolutely going to be rooting for the 49ers, especially as a Giants fan. But for this game, I think it's going to be really tough for San Francisco. Overall, I'm expecting more of a slugfest than anything. If I were to back the 49ers, I would need the plus 3. 2.5. We've talked about this in the past in the playoffs. Is a perfect line. 2.5 is, you're going to get equal action on each side. For me, I'm going to take the under of 46. I think this is going to be a slugfest throughout, and I think there's gonna be a lot of player prop opportunities here too as well. So like one that I really like is AJ Brown, longest reception over 27.5. AJ Brown is the 5th best receiver in the NFL at against man coverage. He has the 5th best ranking. I think Justin Jefferson is number 1. AJ Brown is number 5. 49ers play a lot of man coverage. So for me, I would say that that's a really good prop to target. Also, Jalen Hurts. Why is Jalen Hurts plus 125 to score a touchdown? I know the 49ers front four is really good, but they struggle with mobile quarterbacks. So I would say that Jalen Hurts to score a touchdown at plus 125 is really good as well. If you're looking for like a value play there. Also like his rushing yards. In 4 out of 6 games, besides last week, he was rushing the ball really well. 4 out of 6, he was over his total. It actually has dropped significantly for what his norm was, which was about 55. That's all the way down in the high 30s now. I would say that I would definitely target Jalen Hurts rushing yards in this game. And I'm going to be rooting for 49ers, especially as a Giants fan. But we'll see. Yeah, I definitely think under 46 though is the play. It's going to be a slugfest.
All right, under 46 is the play, and I understand why it's a struggle for Giants fans. Even my director, Joe, he's like, look, can't be out here rooting for the Eagles. I completely understand how you guys feel on that one, but the best bet for here could be under 46. Now, in the AFC, Erich, we saw the line move a ton this week, where the Bengals were early favorites, but now that we know Patrick Mahomes will play, the Chiefs, they're 1.5-point faves at home. Since he is just over even money on the money line, and the over-under here is at 48, is your money on Mahomes or the Bengals pulling off the upset at Burrowhead?
Man, I was tracking this line movement like crazy. I was praying to God for a Chiefs plus 3 to pop up there. Unfortunately, it never got there. I did get it at plus 2.5, and I think that was the play at that time. You grab the value play, but now that the Bengals are back to underdog status, I'm on the Bengals here. I think that they are the more complete team for sure. Also, Mahomes, you see him running right there on the screen. Is he going to be able to even really do that? I'm not so sure. I think it's going to be a quick passing game for Mahomes, so it'd be high volume, like low, and he's not going to like really stay in the pocket too much and run around. So that's like a spot that you kind of want to target, whereas like you can target like a receptions prop for a receiver, or maybe a pass attempts prop for Mahomes. I think that would be a good call there. But like I said, I'm back in the Bengals money line here. The Post Picks newsletter also had Bengals to win the AFC. So these last four teams, a lot going on here. Also, just one other spot. The Bengals absolutely dominate Orlando Brown, who's the left tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs. Trey Hendrickson is going to be running right at him. And I think that Trey Hendrickson gets a sack here. He's plus 250 to get a sack on DraftKings. I think that's awesome. Orlando Brown does terribly against Cincinnati. They showed it last year too. If you guys remember how badly the Chiefs blew that game, was really because the Bengals defense shut them down. Orlando Brown was a disaster. So for me, I'm going Bengals money line. And I think most likely we'll get a Bengals-Eagles Super Bowl. But I'll still have my fingers crossed on 49ers.
All right, still got your fingers crossed on 49ers. Love the picks here, Erich. We will see. Football, we're getting less and less of it, so there's only one more game for us to preview in terms of betting, but we'll talk a lot about that game. That'll be the Super Bowl coming up in a couple of weeks.
So
Erich, what'd you say?
So many prop bets coming.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of prop bets to talk about with that for sure. Erich, as usual, great work. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it, man.
Yes, I appreciate you, man.